Star, and today I'm going to continue the Nibiru series, and in particular talking about why the Nibiruans came to Earth to mine gold. What I'm going to share with you is based on their perspective as they've explained it to me, and of course, you know, I think they deserve to be heard. There's a lot of information written about the Nibiruans, the people of the 12th planet. Noted scholars, Rhodes scholars such as Zecharia Sitchin have written whole series of books on the subject of the Nibiruans, and he's based his information on texts that were written over 5,000 years ago in ancient Mesopotamia, and he's one of the few people who can translate those texts. But even though some of that is accurate, it's not the whole story. And as the Nibiruans explained to me, what was given to us 5,000 years ago and written down was based on events that occurred, or their activities, which occurred between 200 and 480,000 years ago. So when you're passing down a story generation after generation, it just makes sense that sometimes some of the pieces are going to be left out. I mean, take for example, you know, World War I, World War II. There's a whole different perspective on it based on your position in the war, whether you were American or European or Chinese or Japanese or whatever. Everybody's going to look at it from their perspective, and then they're going to write their stories based on that perspective. So the ancient texts that were written by people who looked at it through their eyes, not necessarily through the most objective eyes. But with that said, if you are an avid researcher of the Nibiruan history and of the 12th planet, you've most likely read Zecharia Sitchin's material. And I'm going to quote his material the most because I think it's probably the most accurate, and it's definitely, he's gone a lot further than a lot of the other researchers. Now, what is being put out there is that these Nibiruans came to Earth to mine gold, and they created a slave race to do it, and that they're just coming back around to keep us enslaved. Well, okay, I guess that is one perspective. Zecharia Sitchin didn't say that we were being kept as a slave race. He just said that, yes, we were created by the Nibiruans to mine gold. Let's go back a ways and discuss why they needed the gold in the first place. Their atmosphere was riddled with holes, and so they found that after trying different things, that the only thing that could protect them from the radiation in space was gold dust suspended in the atmosphere. It acted like a shield. And they didn't have enough gold on their planet to be able to save themselves, so they had to find a planet with abundant amounts of gold, and Earth was that planet. So they came here and they set up mining operations. But why was their atmosphere riddled with gold, with holes? Well, that's what has not been shared. That was left out of the story. They came here because they were involved as a peacekeeping force, because Nibiru, if you've listened to the two original series, they're a multinational, multiracial group that they're made up of civilizations or members from civilizations from all over the galaxy, and they act as like a peacekeeping force, a UN, a Red Cross. I mean, they have many jobs or roles that they play as a member of the Federation of Worlds, known to many people as the Galactic Federation. And so, okay, where was I? Okay, so when they came, so they've been involved in wars, and the last great galactic war is what damaged their atmosphere to the point that they had to go in search of gold to save their people. That war involved trying to maintain colonies, human colonies on Mars, Venus, Earth, and Maldek. Well, the species they were fighting managed to wipe those out, but eventually they were able to recolonize, and at least Earth, they've recolonized Earth, and so they were in the process of trying to protect that colony, as well as I understand some of the Syrian colonies in the Sirius system. So they were trying to protect humans, and as a result, their planet was nearly, their people are being wiped out. So they came to Earth to look for something to save their world. Now, they created humans after a period of time because they were not used to the heat on our planet, and so they needed to cross their genes with a species that was used to the heat, and so they did create the first humans. Now, when they create a species, as they explained to me, and they've done this many times for different worlds because they have extensive laboratories and geneticists on their world that can create a new species, and just like when we choose to have children, we always have a need that we're fulfilling, even if we recognize it or not. We always do everything based on a need. We create to satisfy a need. That is a part of the creative process. So they created us, and when they did, they realized that they are now a parent race to us, and therefore it's their responsibility to take care of us until we reach spiritual maturity and technological maturity enough to be able to stand on our own as a member of the galactic community. So that would be hundreds of thousands of years in the future. So when they created us, it wasn't a mindless act or just for gold. They thought about the consequences of this, some more than others. There's been a lot of talk about the conflict between Enlil and Enki. Well, they just saw how to raise or how to handle this responsibility differently. And I'm not going to get into that today. But the point is that they have been with us. They have continued to send people to us to keep us on the path, so to speak, to where we are now at a point where they can give us back all 12 strands of our DNA and prepare us to enter the galactic community, basically graduate us from college. You don't do that to a slave race. You do that to those that you really feel responsible for, and that is their perspective. Now, you're going to listen to this and you're going to have to decide how you want to look at it. I suggest you do all your research, but here's something to keep in mind. The powers that be do not want you to embrace your parent race. They don't want you to see the Nibiruans as their parent race. In fact, I went to see a movie last night. One of the trailers is about this movie called The Fourth Kind, and it's supposedly saying that people in Nome, Alaska are being abducted by ancient Sumerians or Anunnaki. So they're trying to revile or defile, whatever revile be, the Nibiruans, because they know the powers that try to enslave us right now, they know that when that parent race returns, the game's up. So, go do your research and make your own decisions. I'm simply here giving the perspective as I was asked to do, so that way you can make an informed decision. Until next week, I'm Jalila Starr. Take care.